And to some of your listeners, I would say that if you're in a relationship that doesn't challenge you in a healthy way, I'm not talking about abusive, but I'm talking about in a healthy way, then you're not in a good relationship. If
I
you
agree.
can just walk around thinking you're good all the time, or if you're with somebody that just says you're good all the time, you're not
Mm-hmm.
in a relationship, you're in a fraud. You're in a
Yes.
situation where people are you're just there to get what you need. You're not
Mm-hmm.
there to invest anything. You're there to just get what you need. That's not a relationship. That's just a dirty exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of people that are in 15, 20-year relationships, 10, 15-year marriages that really they've been in a dirty exchange the whole time
The
because
whole
nobody
time.
ever came to give. I only
Mm-hmm.
came to get what I didn't get from my ex. I only came to get what I didn't get from my father. I only see, and when someone comes like that, then that person is not in a relationship with a person. They're in a relationship with a drain that they want to turn
Mm,
on and off.
mm,
Yeah,
mm,
it's a
mm.
danger. It's a dangerous space.
It
Yeah,
is. It
yeah,
is.
yeah.
It is. But it makes you comfortable. I will say that I've seen that
Mm-hmm.
a lot. And that's, it goes back to what you said, that what
Mm-hmm.
what you caught all that slack from the, you caught the slack from the men
Mm-hmm.
of, could you repeat that, what you said? That was so powerful.
Oh, on that podcast.
Yes.
Let me see, because I talk every day, and I
Yeah.
let me see. I think I can pull the clip up right quick.
Okay. Okay.
Um, it's somebody just. Oh God, I don't want to hold your podcast up. What did I say? I said that a lot of men rather be with a woman that's detached from them, because a woman that loves a man will challenge him to be greater. She'll challenge him. She'll want to see what's in him. She'll want to get to know him. She'll know his weaknesses. She'll ask him what's wrong with him, all these things. And a lot of men don't want to be known that way. So they rather choose a woman that's just entertainment, because
Mm,
she never gets to his heart. She never
mm,
gets to his personality. She just gets to whatever he's presenting. So if he's presenting his pockets, that's enough for her. If he's presenting the party lifestyle, that's enough for her. If he's presenting this car that she like to drive, it's enough for her. But that's the entertainment girl. But when the woman that comes in your life that really loves you, a lot of men will run from that because they don't want to be known. They don't
mm-hmm,
they don't want to be known.
mm-hmm,
Because if you know me, then I'm challenged to become better.
mm-hmm,
And that's where most men don't want to be challenged, especially by a woman, to become better.
mm-hmm,
See, now I know I'm going to get attacked on this one.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They'll let me attack them, right? Yo, bro, get it together. But a lot of men think the woman is a lesser being,
Mm.
right? So how dare you
The ego.
um, challenge me? And even if she's not doing it in a disrespectful way, again, on that video you're talking about, it's just a question. Hey, babe, how you doing? But to a man who has no vulnerability, how you doing feels like a punch in the face,
Mm-hmm. Or
because
like,
he lacks vulnerability.
yes, and you're trying to see past this wall or this facade that I'm carrying, and just that, and on the woman's side, because I've been in those shoes
Mm-hmm.
where I'm operating from a genuine space,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? It's something that simple. Hey, babe, how are you? Or, so tell me a little bit about yourself. Oh shoot,
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute. And so in that moment, or in those moments, the ego is
Mm-hmm.
up and says, no, 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 no. This is, it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need, you don't need to take the mask off, because you
Right.
can tip, you might get hurt. Or remember what happened last time you got hurt? No, no, protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so anger comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many ways where the man will find a way to run, right? Like,
Yes.
what does that look like?
Yeah.
And the reason I want to touch on that is because a lot of women
Mm-hmm.
suffer
Mm-hmm.
from the runner and take it as it's something wrong with them. And it's so important though, and I'm gonna let you, it's so important as a woman, I want to say this to my women, that you continue to get to know yourself,
Yeah.
and you continue to learn you, because you understand that nothing is personal through this human exchange, and most things are being projected.
Yeah.
Most times the human being is dealing with their own self,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so
Mm-hmm.
you are just in the line of it, and you might
Exactly.
get hit here and there.
Yep.
So it's so important to understand that when people react, it may not
Mm-hmm.
have anything to do with you. But if you lack esteem, or you are looking for love in the wrong places, you're going
Yeah.
to take that as something is wrong with you. But if you become solid within yourself, and
Yeah.
I'm saying this because I've been there,
Mm-hmm.
where I
Mm-hmm.
it was hurtful,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know who I was. When I
Yeah.
stepped into my power and
Yeah.
my esteem, and understanding who I was and the energy I carry,
Mm-hmm.
I then understood that it was not personal, but it wasn't coming from a um cocky space. I
Mm-hmm.
still was able to extend grace for
Yeah.
that person, because
Mm-hmm.
again, this is a human journey and we are all on it, but we are passing through each other's
Yeah.
lives,
Yeah.
and you might catch a few
Yes.
things. So
Yes.
extend grace for those men that you may come across,
Mm-hmm.
and even vice versa,
Mm-hmm.
understanding that it's not personal. But when a person shows you that, believe it and allow them to go on that journey,
Mm-hmm.
and don't keep putting yourself in the line of fire. Because I did that. When I didn't
Yes.
understand it, I,
Mm-hmm.
well, no, choose me. Well, why not? Well, look, I'm trying to save you. No, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, no, no. No,
Mm-hmm.
it's not your job to save.
No.
No, and matter of fact, more importantly, that person doesn't want to be saved.
Mm-mm.
Right?
Mm-mm.
So you drop a gem, right, with love, and then you keep going, and
Yeah.
until you align with someone who's doing the work, who
Yeah.
can catch what you just said, who's
100%.
mature emotionally enough to say what you said.
Yeah.
See, you're mature emotionally enough and vulnerable enough to make that statement. The
Yeah.
people that were commenting to attack you have not developed yet to that
Right.
point, and that is okay.
Still
That's
tough
okay.
guys. They still a bunch
Yeah,
of
yeah.
tough guys.
That's the ego.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I read back when you said what you said. I was actually just in I had a one-on-one coaching um this afternoon. And the topic that we were talking about was serial dating.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to the brother, I said, when it comes down to this, you need to go start apologizing
Mm-hmm.
to these women. I said, because women won't look at you when you leave as you being wrong. They'll always say, what's wrong with me? And I said, women will carry that for 2 or 3 years, even into other relationships, or it will prevent her from getting into another relationship because she's still holding on to why you left. And I was telling him, bro, you need to go back. You need to say, tell some of them sisters, hey, I was on what I was on. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
you. Because I told him that same thing. I said, women will carry it for years. You know what it is? I wrote it, this book right here, Soul of Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is my book I wrote to women. After I eulogized my mother, I wrote this book to women.
Wow.
And I write in this book about the releasing. Oh, my camera.
Yes,
We'll
stay
get it.
focused.
Yeah. Every time I show a book or something, it wants to do what it wants to do. Here we go. We'll edit this part out. No worries. Okay. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
camera.
Almost.
Almost. Okay.
Okay.
So in that book, I wrote in the Soul of Sarah about how a woman, basically what God showed me was a woman's reproductive system. She also has a spiritual reproductive system that exactly
Mm.
matches the natural reproductive system.
Wow.
And whatever this woman takes into her ear gate, is just like taking the seed of a man into her body. She'll take it in. It will go into her mind womb. Every woman has two wombs, here and here. And when that seed goes into this ear, it goes into the womb, it germinates, it grows, it produces. And then out of her mouth is the birth canal. So this is where women either speak well of themselves or speak terrible of themselves. But it's all about what she allowed in here. Same way you make a baby is the
Yep.
same way it's the spiritual thing. Either you create
Mm-hmm.
something awesome, but this is the danger. And I warn ladies that whatever you take here, even if it's negative, you'll still germinate it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Mm-hmm.
you got to protect, a woman got to protect her ear gate more than anything else. because she will become the negative thing she hears,
Mm-hmm.
or she'll ride those waves forever and ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's so strong that a woman can watch another woman go through something and totally buy into what that woman's going through. If she heard that pain, now she's
Mm-hmm.
now making judgments on life and men because of what she went through. See, the
Mm-hmm.
ear
Mm-hmm.
gate is
Absolutely.
dangerous for a woman because this mind of a woman is powerful.
Absolutely.
A
We are the
man
procreators.
ex- of everything.
Mm-hmm.
A woman is the only gateway into society. You
Mm-hmm.
can't get into the world without her,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is why women need to be protected. That's why I started the Dear Sister podcast. That's why I wrote this book, The Soul of Sarah, because there's nobody protecting women with wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of men will protect you with the pistol, but will
Yes.
never protect you with wisdom. And that's what you were talking about earlier. I
Yes,
got you.
just
I
showing
got that's
up.
what you're talking
Mm-hmm.
about.
And
Right.
I promise again, it's not taking the accountability off of us. We
Mm-hmm.
definitely have a lot to do and work on to show up
Mm-hmm.
for you all.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the order, the natural order that we fall into, even outside of, we can talk till we turn blue about it. I'm not following a man, and we do. You will. You get with him, you'll start talking like him. You start doing things he does. It's natural in us,
Mm-hmm.
so,
Mm-hmm.
and it's natural to want to actually do that. It feels
Mm-hmm.
good. We love that when we can be giddy and fall into that little girl state where we.
Mm-hmm.
But that comes with comfort,
Yeah.
right? But yeah. So that's basically the same thing. But we'll start to show up for you in ways that you can't even imagine. The heaven that we will lie at your feet when just that simple protection is in place, right? Because like you said, we are, and that again, that for me, a lot of work with women, I
Mm-hmm.
realized that I have to start doing with us, like you said, just that, protecting our both wombs.
Mm-hmm.
Most women don't understand the power that we hold, being the second self of God, being the procreator, that the only way that life is brought into the physical realm is through our womb, is through our
Yeah.
body,
Mm-hmm.
starting with the mind. So
Mm-hmm.
if we understood how powerful we are, then we can then start operating in that, and vice versa, right?
Yes.
And so um the work has to be done on both sides. It's so much work that needs to be done, but it starts with people like us doing what we
Yes.
do.
With these
Mm-hmm.
conversations, absolutely
Mm-hmm.
open, honest, vulnerable. Right.
Yes.
I've just been through too much in life not to be open, honest, and vulnerable. I just don't have time for like you know, I've been through divorce.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost my child. I lost a child, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I've been through all these things. I've buried both of my parents, preached all their funerals, you know. I've been homeless, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've been on dialysis. I've been through hell in life. So, and I think sometimes trouble will make someone more vulnerable.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of men run from tough times. And when you run from tough times, it never births a resilience in you.
Mm.
And if a man hasn't been baptized in tough times, then he's not able to care for nobody else because he doesn't even know if he can make it for himself.
Mm-hmm.
So how in the world will he ever be able to know whether he'll make it for you and children? He can't.
Mm. Mm.
He can't.
Mm.
See, this is what it's male education. That's why I wrote the book Home Where Hurt Men Heal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I got that somewhere. It's somewhere around. It's somewhere. Let's just do this.
I was saying, make sure you let them know your both your books and where they can purchase the
All
books
right,
at as well.
there's one right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the screen. Um, Home Where Hurt Men Heal is available on Amazon right now. And then the other one I brought up was The Soul of Sarah. It's right
Nice.
there. All right.
On Amazon.
So
$15
on
each. Definitely go support you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, and I
Absolutely.
got this one. Can I throw this last book up?
Go right
I
ahead.
got I got Yeah, go get that one too. That's on
Woo!
Amazon right
Oh no, that was deep.
now.
That's deep.
Go get that one. It's on Amazon right now.
That reminds me of me. That just hit me.
Go get that one.
That reminds I'm gonna go get that one first. That reminds me of my business name, and God gave me this name sitting on the
Mm-hmm.
beach called Experiencing God.
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds religious,
Mhm.
right? But anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. But that
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna get that
that's a
one
whole nother
first.
podcast. Get that
I'm
one.
gonna get in.
I
Yeah,
tell my
that I like that.
I started speaking at 14
Let me
years
write
old,
it down.
and
Okay.
so that's why it's called 14 to 41. 41 is when I really got this revelation of what where the church is going deadly wrong. And
Mm.
I pastored for 27 years too,
Oh,
so
did you?
I
Okay.
got, yes, so I got it
Gotcha.
inside, and I retired at 39. And then God just really showed me this revelation of, yeah, we're serving people in these places. We're
44.
not serving God. We're serving people. We're
Mm.
serving people's visions. We're not serving
Mm-hmm.
what God wants. And again, look, that's a whole nother conversation we get into, because we have over spiritualized things in religious organizations, whether it's the masjid, whether it's a synagogue, or whether the church. And now you have a lot of people not understanding humanity or wanting to be
Mm-hmm.
human, because they're trying
Mm-hmm.
to hide behind this spirituality. And in
Yes.
fact, I don't care how much you try to hide behind spirituality, your humanity is going to come out, especially in the mirror of a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
Mm-hmm.
think that's another thing. If we start, it's not dishonoring God, it's knowing who God is, because what God really wants is for you to know you, not to know church, not to know the masjid, not to know the
That's
synagogue.
it.
God, the greatest thing you can ever do. In fact, I would go as far to say that worship, the greatest worship you can get to, the greatest worship you can give to God, is to get to know the creation. It's not the hands lifted. It ain't the
Mm-mm.
tears coming down. It ain't the song playing. The greatest worship you can ever have is to get to know the creation God made.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I? What can I do? What
Mm-hmm.
problem was I born to solve?
Yes. That's
And
that's
it
what it's
goes
all
right.
about.
That's what it's all about. And it goes right to this conversation, because if you imagine, if you get a bunch of people that are asking that question about themselves, not who I'm gonna get with, not who cute, not who I want to make a baby. Imagine people knowing who they are, what they were born for, what problem they were put on this earth to solve. If you get a bunch of women and a bunch of men thinking like that, then you can have hell of a relationship.
That woo, listen, and that goes back to the importance of the black man healing. The black man healing is him getting to know himself. Like you said, all of us, because everything that we do is going to take us right back to self.
Yes.
Relationships, parenthood, it's going to take you right back to self. And when
Yes.
you understand that,
Mm-hmm.
now you're winning. When you
Yeah, you're winning.
understand that, and one thing up with religion, and I remember when I separated from religion, that's how I,
Mm-hmm.
I got into just spirituality,
Mm-hmm.
removing the middleman and just connecting straight to source.
Yes.
Experiencing God. God told me start this healing business, and I want you to call it experiencing God. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
experiencing God. Yes, boom, got a download. Experiencing God is everything that you do. Experiencing God is removing the wedge that religion tries to put between you and God
Yeah.
by saying, if you're not operating at your best and you don't have the most faith and you're not doing all these
Mm-hmm.
things, that you're not close to God. Or when
Mm-hmm.
you're in your down season, that you're not close to God, you're the closest to God that you will ever be. And
Yes.
so experiencing God literally is this right here. Us
Yes.
exchanging this magic. Experiencing God is when I was crying the other day and didn't know which way to turn to
Mm-hmm.
go. And then I used my mind, I used my knowledge to get myself back on track.
Mm-hmm.
Experiencing
Mm-hmm.
God is when I made a mistake the last time.
Yes.
All of that makes up experiencing God. And us understand, if people understand that when you're in those moments that we look at as, bad or low,
Mm-hmm.
that you're experiencing God, I think they would have way more, a better relationship.
I agree.
And with the relationship, they would have more success in the things that they're doing and
Yeah.
confidence, because now you listen, you right in it, you
Mm-hmm.
right with God. What they
Mm-hmm.
say, he's closer to you than your jugular vein, you, because you are,
Yes.
right, you are. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
no, you hit it right on the dot.
Yeah. And
That's the
yeah,
crack the code.
it's so, and it's the thing. In relationship, if I realize I'm God's creation, then I got to realize you're God's creation, right? Then there's a different honor, right? There's a
Mm,
different
mm, mm.
respect that comes when I know I'm God's creation and you're God's creation. Then there's a different, even if a relationship doesn't work out, there's a certain honor I have because you're
Yes,
God's creation,
yes,
right?
yes,
And so that's why it's not about religion. It's
yes.
about knowing the knowing God, knowing who He made and what he made you for. Another thing about that is when you get to know who you are and what God made you for, then you don't just get with anybody. Because you're so in touch with where you're going, then you realize I can't just sacrifice this for a relationship because I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't born for a relationship. I was born for
Mm-hmm.
this particular purpose.
Mm-mm-mm.
And then I start
My
to
God.
streamline who's allowed in
Yes.
my life, right?
Yes.
There's certain
Yes.
people that are not allowed in your life, and they're not
Yes.
bad people,
Yes.
but they're not allowed for what you're carrying, where you're
Yes.
going, and what you're becoming,
Yes.
right?
Whew.
That's the whole deal. Um, Eve was made for Adam from Adam,
Mm,
right? But I want to say
mm,
this to the men. The first thing you saw in the book of Genesis was Adam went to sleep in order to even get Eve. That's what the scripture says. That
okay.
God put Adam to sleep and then took his rib to make a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say this to the ladies watching. Don't get with a man that's never been to sleep. I ain't talking about a nap.
Yeah. Yeah. No, go
I'm
ahead.
talking about full level of humility. When
Mm,
he
mm.
dies.
The ego death. The ego death.
That's why Adam went to sleep.
Come on. Now you clowning today.
That's why Adam
The
was put to sleep.
ego.
He had to die of who he thought he was to receive
Yes.
himself. See,
Ooh.
when he received Eve, he was only receiving himself,
Yes.
right? But he would have rejected himself
Oh
if
God.
he was walking in ego. So that's why God put
God.
him to sleep. So he could receive himself. He could receive a better part of himself, right? If he didn't go to sleep, to say God just took the rib out and didn't put the man to sleep, then when God brought the rib back to him, he would have said, "What you doing in my garden?"
Yes. Yes.
But that
Yes.
sleep
I
wouldn't
heard
let
it.
him ask that question. Sleep made him say, "Bone of my bone,
Mm,
flesh of my flesh. She is me."
mm,
It is said that they used maybe somewhat of a Hebrew language back then, and in that day, the man would have been called Ish. That would have been a name for a man, Ish. And I believe that we can all see ourselves in certain water, river water. You can see yourself in water. I think there were days where Adam did see himself. He had to see
mm,
himself to recognize Eve when he saw her.
mm,
So, so, so when he saw her, he was basically saying, Isha, me in another form. That's all
mm,
relationship is. So don't
mm-hmm,
date people that are
mm-hmm.
cool and cute. Are you dating you in another form? If not, it may be fun, but it will never work. It's
Mm-hmm.
not sustainable,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that person has to be you in another form. And if that person is you in another form, then if you respect you, you respect you,
Yes. Yes.
right? But
Yes.
if I see me as me and her as her, then I cannot dishonor her. But if I see
Mm-hmm.
her as me, then I'm not going to dishonor her.
Yes.
But most people don't see it that way. Again,
Mm-hmm.
because we come to use people, we don't come to build. The
Mm-mm-mm.
danger of relationship.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
you preaching today. That
Yeah.
I say that all the time about the ego death.
Mm-hmm.
That was I love the way you put. I'm not even gonna go over it.
Yeah.
That was amazing. That was it. That is
Now
so real.
let me give this to your female listeners as well.
Mm-hmm.
How does a woman know who to say I do to? Because any man can ask. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
great guys can ask. In fact, it's a chapter in this book about knowing who to say I do to. So is Sarah. I believe that was the first wedding when God made Eve and walked her to Adam. Can't you see that?
Mm-hmm.
He put the man to sleep. That means he's sitting there waiting, like a
Mm-hmm.
man would at the end of an aisle at a wedding. And then the father walks the woman to the groom.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Genesis was the first wedding. He took her, he formed her, and then now this is the thing. This is what most people never pay attention to. What is the conversation then between Eve and God before she met Adam? Nobody teaches about that.
Hmm.
She had her own relationship with God. God held her hand. He formed her. He loved her. He handled her a certain way. So, how does a woman know who the right man to say I do to? The grip doesn't change. The same way God held her when he hands her over, she'll feel like she was never exchanged. It's the
mm,
same grip.
mm.
That's why a woman must have a relationship with God and must have a relationship with herself so she can
Yes.
know that when I get into this man's hands, does it feel like God?
Yes. Yes.
If it
Yes.
don't feel like God, because don't be the kind of woman that slips through a man that you have the kind of man that got his fingers open. You can slip through. You need a man who will cup you right here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Adam did with Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, that's and to add to it, the grip that you're gonna feel that feels similar or the same, that grip will be him submitting to God, him submitting to a higher being, and in that process, because if we submit to you all, the man has to have someone that he submits to and grounds himself so that
One
he
hundred percent.
can lead, so that he can mimic that grip. That is the
Mm-hmm.
grip. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And even
Yep.
whichever you want to call it, whichever way you, however you would like for the universe, right? Your higher self, but
Whatever you want to call it.
right, you have to
Right.
have something grounding you
Mm-hmm.
so that you can stay grounded, and then
Mm-hmm.
we can submit. That's the grip. It will
That's the
mimic
grip.
if you are, if he's doing that. So no, you that's the word.
Absolutely.
That's the word.
Absolutely.
And I have a question, and we can wrap it up.
Sure.
um what have what did you notice within the self work that you've done? And like
Mm-hmm.
you said, I know you said you've been through a lot, and I'm very proud of you. First of all, I just want to
Thank you.
tell you that,
Thank you.
just as a person, as a being, and in particular a black man. So I thank
Thank
you
you.
for still standing and using your pain into purpose, and continue on your journey.
I appreciate
um
that.
Absolutely. What are some of the things that you've done and worked at, and that you noticed that's different from from you being before, well, and you may have always been vulnerable, but I'm not sure. You being vulnerable and being self-aware
Mm-hmm.
versus not being vulnerable and self-aware. And when
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking this as far as a relationship, as far as you interacting with women, what happened to create that? And what are some of the things that you were doing when you was not rested in that space?
Controlled pace. You can always tell a man who has suffered and been processed by his pace. All you got to do is look at his pace. My pace was like this: get it done, get it done, get it done, go, 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 build a relationship. Where we going, what we doing. When I went through my process, what I learned was slow down enough to get to know me so I can get to know you. See, if you're not processed, you're just trying to build a relationship that will make you feel better or will make her feel better. But when you slow the pace down, you get to know yourself, know what you have to offer, know what you don't have to offer, right? Know what you want, know what you don't know what you
Mm-hmm.
need, know what you don't need. The greatest thing for me, and I think any man, is a controlled pace because life is pushing, the job is pushing. You got to get this money. Everything in society is push, 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 push. But a slowed pace, that's the picture of a processed man, a slowed pace. I'll give it to you. Michael Jordan said it one time playing basketball. He said, when I first started playing basketball, it was fast, fast, fast. He said, the hole looked small, the hoop. He said, when I slowed down, the game started coming to me. He said, even though people running fast, the game looked like it was in slow motion for me, and the hoop looked like it was this big. That's why he didn't miss shots, because of pace.
Mm-hmm.
The game to him was in slow motion. That's what a man has to do in order to really even love a woman, because a woman can be all over the place, right? If he's doing this too, chaos. But can he slow down enough to understand why she's saying what she's saying, right? Instead of just saying she crazy, right? That's how you see a man process. He deal with relationship differently. He's looking to understand, not change you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And even if you are going to change, he ushers you to change. He doesn't demand the change, but it's because of his control pace.
Mm-hmm.
If he can
Mm-hmm.
control himself, and when a man controls himself, he won't try to control you. You'll just follow him.
You just follow. I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree. What is something that we can do? And I know I have been practicing this myself. When we come across a man and his problems, traumas, flaws, and I'm gonna just say, um, brother Dr. Umar in psychology call it a pain body. Church of Scientology calls it reactive mind, and it's the part of you that has been um, harmed, traumatized, right? That's where your pain lies at, and that we don't know a person until we meet that pain body, as he calls it, and we meet that part, and we see how you react, or we see how you act when you're triggered. Your trauma responses. How do you respond to the trauma? When a woman may when she starts to see that in a man, because it's natural, we both will see it in each other, but just for a woman, when we see that, what are some ways that we can help you navigate it, become aware of it, without pushing, without humiliating, without feeling like we're testing your manhood? What are some ways that we can do to help you navigate that? Mm-mm.
I'm sorry about that. You got me now?
Yes.
Okay. Um, it's simple. Realize you have flaws too. I mean, I wish it could be deep and philosophical, but it's not. I think a lot of women approach men as if they don't have flaws
Mm-hmm.
because there's a nature in a woman that wants to always seem, I got it together.
Mm-hmm.
No woman wants to show her flaws, but this is the issue. There is emotional inequality in relationships that a woman will point out a man's flaws, but will never say her own flaws. And
Mm.
I'm gonna say this to your community, that a lot of relationships would be saved right now if women were willing to admit they had flaws too.
Mm-hmm.
Women don't admit flaws in relationships. And so
Mm-hmm.
eventually a man keeps on feeling like he's the only one climbing the rough side of the mountain. He's
Mm.
going to abandon ship because
Mm-hmm.
he's looking as if you're the foreman, just saying, yeah, get to work, move them clock, move it, get them rocks,
Mm.
move it. And a man is exhausted with that. He's not going to stay with you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So women have to start admitting fault. That's how you help a man get through his faults. If you
Mm-hmm.
admit you got yours, and most women will never do that. And this is
Mm.
the fact. This is the fact. In fact, I'll give you a little joke. They say the only woman that ever apologized was Anita Baker when she sang that song, I Apologize.
No, no. I'm listen. We know, ladies, women, sisters, y'all know what time it is. And we say that. We say that. So definitely we have to work on that. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
We
Yep.
accept that wholeheartedly, and we will continue to work at that and work at our side to do what we need to do to like I said, be there for you all. And I pray that the same starts to happen on both sides so we can build a strong family, start these strong families over and start building. So
Our kids
thank
deserve it, right?
our kids deserve it. We
Yeah.
deserve it.
Yep.
Seriously. I want to see it. I want to feel it. It's
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yep.
So yes. Well, anything else would you like to say?
That's it. Thank you. Thank you for
Could you
having me
please
be a
tell them
part
the
of
name
this.
of your podcast and your social media?
Okay. Um, wow. I don't pay enough attention to be able to blurt this stuff off. I really care more about teaching than building anything. So, um,
Absolutely.
okay. So the Dear Brother podcast is on YouTube. Every day I do a 6 a.m. show, a lot of shorts. Um, I have the Dear Sister podcast as well. That's on YouTube as well.
Okay.
Um, Social media, I think Facebook, I'm Christian. I'm Christian Winters. I think
Winters.
Instagram, I'm Christian B Winters, and TikTok, I'm Christian B Winters. So it's pretty
Mm-hmm.
consistent across the board. And I got these books available to everybody too. The Soul of Sarah is available to the ladies. I have a lot of men buy this book to try to understand the mind of a woman. Home Where Hurt Men Heals available to men. And for some of you trying to understand the direction of the church, I Left Church to Serve God is also. All those are available on Amazon.com. My dear sister, thank you so much for letting me jump on your dope podcast. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. I appreciate you. And hopefully we'll be getting together soon. For anything else, you never know. Just let the universe do what it do. And may God continue to bless you on this journey and continue to make you successful mentally and spiritually. And thank you. I
Deep
appreciate it.
appreciation.
This
Thank you,
this
my
is what
sister.
you call an experiencing God moment. So
Yes,
we
ma'am.
are.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye
All
bye.
right. You're welcome. Bye bye.